Today we're talking about badass women of history, and we're going to start with Amage, the Queen of the Sarmatians. I know today was going to be the day I was going to read out my story of my 30 days of world building. However, I'm going to save that for novel writing month, get that written out so I can spend the time that really deserves. And instead, I've decided to start a new series called Badass Women of History. The reason I'm doing this is because A, badass women are cool, and that's just kind of my aesthetic. And the other thing is I just think they're kind of a little bit forgotten in history, and I want to shed some light on some of these strong, powerful women. So today we're talking about Amage, a queen of the Sarmatians who ruled in the 2nd century AD or CE current era. So, where are the Sarmatians? If you look on the map up here, you'll see them somewhere over here. Let's see how I go with my green screen lighting up. And they are part of the wider Scythian kind of nomadic people, which is not really a group of people, more of a culture, which you can see all across here. So our story actually begins with her husband ruling a king who was not doing a very good job and had just given up and was just lazy and just getting fat on his wealth, basically. So she took over and cleaned up her state, defended her borders, strengthened up her people, and got quite a reputation from this. I do apologize for the pronunciation, any pronunciation I get wrong here. However, this reputation drew the eye of a Greek colony called Chersonesus, which is in what now is Crimea, near the modern city of Sevastopol. Sevastopol? I think that's how to pronounce that. This Greek colony did decide to organize a peace treaty with Amage in order to get some help dealing with a nearby Scythian king had been raiding them and had stolen some of their land. Amage agreed to this and said, "Don't worry, I'll deal with this." So the first thing she did is wrote a letter to the Scythian king asking him to stop and return any land that had been stolen. She did receive a letter which was unsatisfactory, which I can only assume that the letter stated, "No, what are you going to do about it?" Which would be a big mistake for the Scythian king. Which Amage decided to ride her 120 best veterans to that palace, which was roughly 185 kilometers or 115 miles. This journey was done in one night and one day, which caught the palace and the Scythian king's guards by surprise, and because they were surprised, they were killed. And she busted into the palace, killing all the king's friends and family except for one of his young sons. The young prince was then set up to rule, and Amage told him that she expects him to rule fairly, justly, and play nice with the neighbouring kingdoms, including the Greeks, otherwise she'll be back for him. After she had left, the young prince decided to clean up his father's mess and return the land that was stolen from the Greek colony Chersonesus, and then that area lived in peace for a time. And that is the story of Amage, the Queen of the Sarmatians. I had a lot of fun telling this story. I hope you really enjoyed it. I do plan on doing more of this sort of thing to get you inspired about real historical characters for your worlds or your campaigns or your stories. And if you do want to see more of this, please do let me know. Please comment below. Or if you just want to show your support, please like, subscribe, and share to your friends. If you don't have any friends and just have an enemy, what I would do is find an acquaintance who would be mutual to that enemy, and then you can team up like Queen Amage. In all seriousness, I do hope you really did enjoy the story, and I will be covering more like this in the future, so please stay tuned. Have a lovely day. May the muses inspire you to tell grander stories.